Hey y'all, I'm back. And I feel like, once every couple months I come and I say that, and then I do a couple videos and then I leave. You're gonna be busy, you're gonna be tired. But I told myself 2026 Q2, I'm gonna be disciplined. So this will be coming out April 1st, 2026. I just need to restructure my life and stick with it to be consistent. Like, that's literally what I need right now. So I'm back. I'm back and I'm black. Always been black, but I'm also back too. So let's get started. Okay, everyone, welcome back. My name is Denny from Denny's Journey, which is my channel. I'm low-key thinking about changing my channel name. I don't know yet, I haven't decided. But also known as the Lawyering Dietitian. And as you can see from the clip that I posted, I'm back, like for real, for real. I'm gonna need y'all to hold me accountable. I think that's the problem. Y'all ain't holding me accountable, so it's technically your fault that I have not been here. So I'm just saying. But anyway, let's get into the video. So I don't remember if I posted this or not, but I wanted to start doing more commentary as it relates to things that are going on in the media that are like legal or dietitian related, or have like a legal or dietitian spin lens. I just think it would be interesting because I'm like, everybody else is out here giving their opinions and they don't know between there, and there. So, I could certainly come on here and give my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm doing today. So I was actually supposed to start with Love is Blind before the season came out. So that's how long I've been thinking about this. And I'm like, Denny, you have to get out of, isn't it imposter syndrome? Let me look it up. Hold on. What is imposter syndrome? Because I know people always talk about it. I'm like, I don't know what that is. Okay. Imposter syndrome from Google AI says it is a psychological pattern where an individual persistently doubts their abilities and accomplishments, feeling like a fraud despite objective evidence of their success. Damn. People with imposter syndrome often attribute their lack of success to luck or external factors rather than their own skills and talents. So no, I've always felt like I didn't have imposter syndrome. I never felt like a fraud. So if that's the definition, that's not me. But I guess if there's like an imposter syndrome light, that's what I would say, like how I felt. Because like I said, I have the education, the training, the credentials. For those who don't know me, my name is Denny and I have been an attorney since November 2014. That's when I first got licensed in Illinois. Then I got licensed in New Jersey in, I think it was February 2015, June? No, I took the bar in February. So June 2015, and then I took New York, New Jersey together, and then I got licensed because New York took forever. I got licensed in New York in December of 2015. So it is going on 12 years. It'll be 12 years in November. So I've done a variety of things in the law. I know little bits here and there. I mean, obviously the law has changed. So, something that I knew I might have been practicing 5 years ago, things may have changed. So you always have to keep an update with the law. But anyway, as far as like being a registered dietitian, I have been a registered dietitian. Now this I don't remember.
I think 2023. I graduated May 2022. So I think I passed the exam 2023, 2024? December 2024? I finished course 2023. It took me a year to do my internship. So, and then after that, I didn't get licensed until, so it might have been 2024. Yeah, December 2024.
23. I don't remember, child. I'm a dietitian. That's all I know. I don't even know what day it is. So that's crazy. I've been doing both of those things. Anyway, so that's just a little bit of my professional background. I practice both. I have my dietitian services that I provide, as well as my, I'm still an attorney in New York City. So now let's get to the video. So like I said, I was gonna first do Love is Blind. I'm still gonna do Love is Blind. But this came up today and I kind of just wanted to test some things out. So I was like, let me just start with this. I'm always gonna have my legal notepad here. I thought that'd be cute. You know, a cute little spin to this. And because I wrote down some notes. So y'all know what it is. You know what the title is. This is why you're here. It's like a story time too. It's a story time. So apparently today, and if y'all watch The Breakfast Club, I'm from New York, and The Breakfast Club, they moved from having all their content online to Netflix, which is a terrible idea. I don't know why they thought it would be a good idea, because what people love about The Breakfast Club and what they were doing before was they would go live on Instagram. They had YouTube. People would, you know, engage with them on YouTube, where they were going live on Instagram. They were also live, like in between, like when they were on the air, interacting with people. So I feel like they lose a lot of that interaction. This is actually probably the only video, not probably, this is the only interview I've watched since they moved to Netflix. But anyway, it was shown today. I don't know if she was there today, but it was shown today that Pinky Cole, who you know is on Real Housewives of Atlanta. And let me tell you, I'm excited for this new season. I've been watching Real Housewives of Atlanta since day one. I'm not someone who like remembers every single thing or like this happened in this season or this person. I'm not like that. I remember generally stuff that happens. But I'm really excited for the season. I think it's going to be messy and I'm here for it, okay? So I'm not going to be breaking down necessarily the episodes. Who knows? Maybe we'll see. We'll see how the season turns out. Let me not, God, I'm sorry. I'm limiting myself. I'm so sorry. It was on The Breakfast Club and it came up that obviously she recently filed for bankruptcy. And there was a clip that I saw that made me go watch the full interview where she said, and I remember seeing this clip when it came out, where she was doing some interview. I think she was on a panel actually, where she was like, entrepreneurs should not guarantee their businesses like personally. Now, I remember when I saw that clip, I was like, I agree, but I don't know how else to do stuff. And let me tell you why. Here's a story time. So I also have a travel business. And so when I first started my travel business, my idea was, because I love to travel. Like I love to travel. So I was like, okay, if I, you know, am able to like curate group trips and like have one, I don't want to tell y'all like my specific business idea, but I wanted to do several trips a year. And I still have my travel business, but I don't want to do several trips a year. It's a lot that goes into planning trips, especially now, like what's going on with the airports. There's just so much stuff happening. And all my clients always have travel insurance. So that's like, I'm less worried about that, but traveling and just coordinating, especially for large groups of people, can be challenging. I just didn't realize how challenging. And what I enjoy about traveling is like the experience. But I felt like I hosted a group trip, I think it was 2023. And I realized like, oh, I'm working. Like what I enjoy about traveling is that I'm traveling, I'm experiencing. I could get, you know, I could drink, I could get, you know, whatever, I could get lit. And it's fine because I'm on vacation. But when you're the coordinator of a group trip, you can't be like that. You have to get there early. You know, you can still even set everything up, but especially when you're dealing with like different countries and like different destination, different hotel brands, like everyone doesn't have the same language, you know, first of all. So sometimes there are language barriers, there are cultural barriers, and there's just so many factors that you have to deal with. Anyway, that's not to say that I still have my travel business. I still plan to continue it, but doing trips, multiple trips a year, no. Like the number I had, I was traveling like once a month, and that was too much. So my story as it relates to Pinky Cole is that, so my travel business, I travel, I coordinate for groups, but then I also do like individual group trips. And so my information is like different places, right? And so I got a call one day from this guy who was like, hey, I found your number on, it's called Clea. It's like the cruise line, something. He's like, hey, I found your number on Clea. And okay, let me preface this by saying it sounded scammy So this is I took the L, okay? I'm just going to start off by saying that I took the L. I took the L. I took the L. Okay? All right. I took the L. Okay. So I get a call and he's like, yeah, you know, I found your number on the Cleo website, and I had a regular travel agent and he passed away, and so I'm just looking for a new one. I'm looking to book this trip to Miami. So I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know. He said he's like, I'm, a business person, so, I need someone who can regularly book trips with me. I don't know. I didn't know if it was God giving me a sign, you know what I'm saying? Having someone in my life. I don't know. Again, I took the L, okay? Don't judge me. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I get his information. I always send an intake form where I have like information about, I'm just asking them name. I try to collect like name, birthday, address, because like I'll need these things when I start to book the trip. So at the time I was using this platform called TravelJoy, and this really isn't any shade towards TravelJoy, but that's a platform I was using. And so, he fills out the information. He and I were coordinating back and forth. He did sound foreign, if you guys are wondering, but I live in New York, so like everybody foreign. So, whatever. What kind of foreign, I don't remember. Like I don't want to put any stereotypes out there, but he was foreign. And so, we coordinate everything. He gives me the credit card information. I book the trip. He goes on the trip. It's fine. So I get an email. I don't remember the exact timing. I'll put in here the year that this happened, but I get an email from TravelJoy saying, hey, like your client, had a chargeback. So I'm like, okay. So I reached back out to him, and I won't say it in the video, but I'll put his name. And this is actually like a PSA for my travel agents in case you do get hit with this. I actually got another call maybe like a year or so later from someone else with the same exact story. So this, I know it's a scam, but I'll explain why. So I get an email from TravelJoy. They're like, hey, this person, disputed this chargeback. Long story short, I contacted the person because I still had his contact information. He's like, oh, I don't know what happened. Whatever, blah, 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 like whatever you need me to do. Like I'll send this, I'll send that. I don't remember if he stopped responding. It obviously didn't get resolved, right? So he had stolen this person's credit card. So me, I had already set up my LLC. My LLC was set up in 2022. My attorney I'm gonna set up all my legal stuff first. So I set up my LLC in 2022. When I signed up on TravelJoy, I used my LLC, my EIN. But I do remember them asking for my social security number and didn't think anything of it, put it in. So again, I'm going to relate it back to what Pinky said. So I'm like, oh, well, y'all going to have to, I don't know. Like when I talked to him, I was like, I didn't know. So y'all going to have to like charge it to the game. Like I filed this under my LLC, and they were like, actually, in your terms and conditions, you are personally guaranteed like any chargebacks. And I was like, excuse me? So they sent me their, terms and conditions, and sure enough, there it was. So I'm like, damn. So this trip was like $4,000. I want to say over $4,000. My commission was maybe like $500. So they were saying like TravelJoy is pretty much like, oh, you got to pay us back $4,000. So I'm not doing that. So now this is like an unofficial tip, allegedly. Don't, do this at your own risk. But what I did was I kind of let it run. They were like, oh, asking me for the payment. So I let it go to, did I go to collections? I think so. I went to collections. So I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about, that. So I get contacted from a law office. And of course they're like, hey, this is where, trying to collect this debt on behalf of this, agency. If you don't do whatever, we'll file a lawsuit. So I'm like, okay, whatever. But they're contacting me back and forth. Listen, it is if someone files a lawsuit, it takes so much time and money and effort and energy to file a lawsuit. So that's why courts generally try to resolve things outside of the court, because it's just a fucking lie. It is. Obviously this office, they're trying to like work with me to get it resolved. And I was like, I'm not paying you back that amount. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I didn't know about this. So basically they negotiated and they're like, okay, well, can you do like 1,000? Like if you pay 1,000, we will, because anytime I get contacted from a law office, I let people know I'm an attorney too, so watch how you speak to me. Because like these collection agencies, like they kind of can get kind of nasty. Collection agencies and law firms, so both of them, they can get kind of nasty. So I was just like, you know, the lady was fine who I was dealing with, and she was black too. I could tell by her name. But long story short, I played the long game. I waited it out. And then they emailed me. Maybe it was a collection agency, and then the law office reached out to me. They're like, hey, we are 2 seconds away from filing a lawsuit. And I was like, okay. Because it was like a year. I let this go on. So then they gave me like a different number to pay, or they told me to pay everything. I said, I'm not paying it. I already told this person that y'all already offered to resolve it for $1,000. She's like, oh, well, send me the email. Sent her the email, and she was like, okay. I paid the $1,000, took my L, right? And it wasn't even $1,000 lesson. It was like $500 because I got my commission from it. So because even though all that happened, I still got paid out the commission. So, so 2 things that I learned from that. Like I said, it felt scary. I'm just saying I had no actual knowledge. I had a little, that feeling in your gut, that intuition. But I was like, I don't know. So that's why I just took the L. I paid it because I was just like, one, I'm not going to court over this. This is stupid. Like, it was marked as fraud. Oh, so I wanted to add 2. So I'm like, within that year, I'm trying to figure out, like, what am I going to do? Oh my God, what am I going to do? Because I'm like, what if I have to pay this $4,000? So I'm just like, yo, you should call the hotel. So I called the hotel and I was like, hey, so I have a client because I booked the reservation. So I had all the information. So this is obviously clearly after after the trip had taken place. So the lady was like, she was like, and she was black too, I could tell. And she was like, yeah, girl. So she basically said that the guy checks in, but like with like different women under like different names. I don't know how she remembered this, but she was like, yeah, we have him who checked in, but like he also checked in with somebody else. And she was like, oh, like we've seen him before, but basically he checks in like under different names. And obviously not with his ID. It was something scammy going on. So she was like, she could obviously give me the information because I was a travel agent. But I'm like, damn, like, if this is like a scam, like a scamming ring, which it is, I'm like, I'm gonna have to report it to the police. It had been so long. Like, by the time I thought to call the hotel, it had been so long that I was just like, this is too much. Cause like, I didn't, obviously a lot of the information I had on him, his credit card, that wasn't, real. It wasn't his. So I just felt like it would have been a lot. And I was already like dealing with, Travel Joy asking for their money back. So that's why I say this is like a warning to travel agents. So I'll put his information in the description just because if they're still doing this. Because again, after all this happened, even after it was resolved, I still got another call from someone. And I was just like, he gave, it was, when I say word for word, bar for bar, the same story. And I was like, okay, so that's what happened with that. So back to Pinky Cole. When she says, do not personally guarantee things. And I was like, oh, okay. Cause I experienced this, right? Like I couldn't do anything. It didn't matter that I had this business account that I had legitimized that was like operating under my LLC and under my EIN. And, but I was like, well, I don't know how else. So I agreed with her when I first saw that, I was like, yes, I get it. But then it's also like, how do you use these platforms? Because that's part of their terms and conditions. They're not going to negotiate with you under, with their terms and conditions. So, I mean, if anyone has any ideas or any experience in this, leave it in the comments. I mean, I guess the best thing really, because like when people pay like with credit cards and stuff like that, like there's nothing preventing them from doing a chargeback. So that's just not something that you can prevent. Like you can have it through PayPal, but I'm sure PayPal has their own terms and conditions. I don't know. So she's right. I just think that when you're in certain businesses that and you're using certain platforms like Travel Joy, there's another one called We Travel, or We Travel, yes. There's another one called Squad Trip, right? I'm sure they all have in their terms and conditions that you're going to be personally liable using their service if there's any chargebacks or lawsuits or anything like that. So I don't know. I guess unless you just have like, I don't know. Because even if you do something online, if I have my own website and I'm using Squarespace, I'm sure Squarespace has that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like at this point now in the land of chargebacks, things are pretty standard. You know, that language that's in the terms and conditions. So I don't know. If y'all have any ideas or suggestions, please drop it, in the comments below. And so I just want to share that story time. Okay, so I hope that was helpful, especially for the travel agents out there, people who have their travel business. Just like a little, take heed, warning, advice. Again, if this scam is something that people have experienced and there is like an investigation going on, please hit me up, let me know, because I will provide whatever information that I can, because number one, it's messed up, for the companies, it's messed up for the travel agents, it's messed up for whoever's, information that they're stealing. We're living in a scamming age. So I'm definitely, willing and open to assist in any investigation that already may be ongoing. It'd be great. I would love to help. But yeah, if y'all haven't seen that interview with Pinky Cole, Masor, I was like, I have to watch this. This interview is gonna get my view. But I just love how she speaks. She commands the room. And if you made it to this end of the video, thank you. We're gonna be back. This video is coming out on Wednesday, April 1st. I'm trying to see if I can do Wednesdays because I feel like I could ease on into my week, so record and edit and still enjoy my weekend. So we'll see. But make sure, please like, share, and subscribe. Drop in the comments if there's anything else that you want us to review and talk about. But next week we are going to do Love is Blind. I do want to talk about the lawsuits that were filed and whether I think that Love is Blind has, if they're at fault, if these lawsuits are warranted, what responsibility I think they have. So yeah, I'll see y'all next week.